1,000 subscribers. I can't thank everyone enough for this, as I've gone through an absurd amount of time, effort, and work to get here. I thank each and every one of you for giving me the ability to gain pennies off of YouTube. But it wasn't a straightforward road to just get here. I didn't just appear out of nowhere as this Christian Battle Cats guy and then blow up, as there's a lot of history with me and YouTube. Multiple years, multiple different channels that are all completely different, just left in the past with varying levels of success, and today I'll share everything with you as a special. How I got here, what I learned from YouTube, and things I want to do content wise outside of YouTube, maybe. Joe's. 4, but almost 5 years ago, this is where I really started out. I was 13 or 14 at the time, and I always had a passion for wanting to make something that's entertaining or fun to make. And to me, that would be by becoming an animator or writer of some kind. I still want to do this in 2024, but this is where it started. For a short while, I wanted to be a Storytime animated YouTuber because I was watching a lot of people like The Odd Ones Out or Gene Animation for what I could remember. But nowadays, after all this time has passed, I can't think of doing something like that. After just a year, how many interesting stories do you have? And as an animator, I understand how risky and difficult it can be to get your animations alone off the ground. I've never edited by this point, and that's why there's this funny watermark on the video.
Hello, I am Joes, and for about 4 hours I've been trying to find a way to make a video in the style that I actually wanted to make it in. I was also drawing the character that I'm using right now for this video, since that's the entire reason why I made him. But anyway, I had an idea for a while about what kind of videos I would like to make. It would be like non-scripted rambles, which would be fun, but like, I at least need to get situated with what I have right now.
It's weird to hear my high-pitched voice again from when I was a kid, and also how bad I was at reading scripts in comparison to now. Gmod and YT YouTube poops, whatever. These stupid Gmod videos were my starting point when it really came to making content. I had fun just playing around and recording what I did. And I was really excited at the time when this ironic video called Undertale Sans and Papyrus Roleplay got over 100 views.
Hey Papyrus,
Hey Sans.
I'm gonna go to Groby's.
Alright. I think I see something. Actually, is that a human behind you?
I think it is. I think he has a weapon too. I'll keep you safe, bro. Now, it's time to snap. And there we go.
Thanks, Sans. I one day captured him though. I don't feel so good.
What's wrong? No! No!
This was also when I actually started learning how to edit through making YouTube poops. Or, okay, I actually say YTPs, so this is where I'm keeping it all in. This is also where I actually started learning how to edit through making YTPs or YouTube poops.
You had to borrow my heat just to make the world care.
In case you don't know, YouTube poops were highly edited videos of already existing footage or shows in order to make it funny. They were big in the early to late 2000s, so I think doing them in 2020 was a bit more than late, but I thought these were hilarious at the time, even though they're really not. I also made some videos where I'd attack an LEA plushie that I bought a few years ago at the time, because it was fun to 14-year-old me. Initially, I used an editing program called OpenShot, but while I was editing one of my stupid YouTube poops, it kept crashing. So I switched to HitFilm due to an acquaintance's suggestion, and for a long time, that's what I used. I created this random shooting stars animation too because even though it was long dead when I made it, I still liked the song, and I was really happy that it got 60 views. I also think that it took me like a week to make. Something like that. First few original videos. I continued making YTPs and stuff before and after this one, but I made a video about this ad that was a meme at the time called Rise of Kingdoms. Was the video good? Nope, but this does mark an important fact about my history. I always wanted to talk about stuff that I cared about and make animations. I enjoyed making these YouTube poops because they are funny to me, and it's how I got into editing in the first place, but I also enjoy talking about different subjects for fun. And as you can see, I do that now as well for Battle Cats. As I said, I kept making random YouTube poops, but I did create 2 videos that I felt very proud of at the time. At the time, I was watching Clone High because in 2020, it got a little resurgence. So I created this tier list of the main characters in the show, and it got 2.9k views. As my first video with over 1,000 people watching it, I felt ecstatic. No way, almost 3,000 people actually saw a video of mine, was what I was thinking. But I didn't continue with making videos like this, and instead, I did more joke videos. As for the second video I felt proud of, it was called Storytime Animation in a Nutshell, and it was what you'd probably expect. Here's the video, or at least part of it.
So, I was going to school, then I picked up a weird-looking rock with a disfigured face and put it into my pocket and kept going. Maybe it was something rare I could sell or something like that. But anyway, I went to school on the bus, but since I was such a loner, people kept being mean to me. At the time, I didn't know why, but it was just because I was that cool and people were just that jealous of me. Those people are so mean though. I hate people like that. Am I right, guys? Leave in the comments how much you hate people like that. This is so sad, guys. Can you donate to my Patreon? Your mom has a credit card. Just ask her. Or don't ask her. And just give me your mom's money anyway. But anyway, it was a normal day until lunch. Some kid gave me the middle finger, so I decided to give them one back. Then a bully gang came at me angry. But then, my weird rock with the weird face slowly turned into a normal face and I summoned a god hand. What a bummer. But anyway, I sacrificed my best friend.
But it was one of my first videos where I felt satisfaction from creating pieces of art, from creating the art itself, as opposed to the views it got me. And it only got 73 in the last 4 years. Tyreek Jones. Before I talk about the next selection, this would have to cut into that very section. But this happens a little after I began making animations. I created an ironic Gacha Life account named Tyreek Jones 3 years ago and made sure it had no ties to me. In there, I created a series called Republican Demise, where my OC Tyreek would fight Trump and Mike Pence. It was not only an important editing experience, but I had a lot of pride for this project, as at the time I thought it was one of the best Gacha Life series out there. That's not a high bar at all, but honestly looking back, it was a pretty funny story that pretended as if it wasn't ironic. 3D animations. At some point I got tired of just making YTPs. I wanted not only to have people actually see my videos, but also videos that were animated, as I've always wanted to become an animator. Frame by frame animation takes forever though, so I decided to try out 3D animation. Strangely, I started off with Roblox and this Lorax one got 11k views after a while, which I hated. Then, after this, I learned Source Filmmaker, and I began creating some videos I found to be funny. And during this part of my life, it was one of the only times where I'd produce animations in order to become a YouTuber that was bigger for their animations. And this is where the bulk of my 500 subscribers on that account came from.
I'm going to kill you, Steve. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. I have to do something. And fast. No, wait. I forgot that I had flint and steel. That was easy. That was embarrassing. No! No! Kyle.
You're Jewish. Shut the fuck up, Eric Cartman!
I made Friday Night Funkin' animations, random animations, FNAF animations, all sorts of things, and they got me thousands of views. I also created another normal video where I talked about internet humor that wasn't funny to me.
There are a lot of funny things on the internet like memes, actual jokes, and certain kinds of misfortune done to people. But I believe that there is a worst out of all these kinds of humor. I will be listing the worst kinds of humor or jokes on the internet right now. The list is going to start with the worst types of internet funniness, and then the least worst.
Monster Madness Survival Tier List. I was weaning off of making 3D animations when I decided to spend my time making a Monster Madness survival tier list. It took about an entire day and night straight of editing, and it was well regarded in the community as a solid tier list. The Roblox game was dying at the time, and it's long dead now due to it being deprived of updates, but I still look back fondly on this video in particular. It represents a milestone in how far I came, even then from just making stupid YTPs.
Tonka. I think he looks cool, but he was intended to be a high damage dealing backup support type class, but he fails terribly at this, due to the fact that most other defenders can do what he does but better. Tonka's fists are just a worse version of the Knight's sword, with the added bonus of a crappy slowness effect. His range move is also comparable to the Knight's range move, and his third move is just Flipper's move but worse.
I had the skill, both editing and script writing wise, to make a competent video, and it was one of my first ones where I switched to DaVinci Resolve over HitFilm, which is a program I still use today. This video also let me meet a still internet friend named Pavels, who still supports me and my content to this day. If you're watching up to here, thanks. He's been working on his own comic called Hexapodia. Go check it out on his Instagram, which will be linked in the description. 2D animations. Eventually, I didn't feel like making 3D animations anymore, and I wanted to move away from FNF. So I made 2D ones instead, and Friday Night Funkin' mods. As Athletic was a Friday Night Funkin' mod just for myself that'll never see the light of day. The main reason for the switch was because during COVID, everyone was stuck inside, and thus I had to take an online class. An online art class that told me to create an animation for them, and this happened to be the Monster Madness survival animation of Tonka, and I found the process of making this pretty fun. Though there was a few 3D animations after this point, I pretty much entirely switched by my When People Defend Furries video. Furry Offense. Here's the first comic that I made. It was more so one of the first, as my first comic ever was Minecraft Hardcore Survival. And it's not visible on the channel because I unlisted the video because it was cringe. If you want to check it out in my own reading of it, then you can check out my archive server, which will be in the description in case you want to check out all my comics and stuff. On to the rest of the video. I basically just started writing since I was like 14, and at the time I just hated furries for whatever reasons a 14-year-old would hate furries for. So I made this comic called Furry Offense and animated parts of it.
Dude, furries suck. They're just horny gays who try to normalize weirdness.
True, but I had to. Get on the ground!
I'd gotten a compliment on this animation in particular, which is why the entire comic exists. I don't suggest it since it's very crude, edgy for no reason, and difficult to read, but you can check it out in my personal archive server in the description. The link will never die, and it holds every single one of my stories that are notable at all. In short, it followed this guy named Ryan. He was a criminal who had fought furries to escape their clutches, and once he escaped, he went to his brother's, Cody's house. Cody lost his friend Zach to the furry, so they made a deal to go find him. They go through a forest, find Zach in his furry form, and I never continued it past this point because it was retarded. Webcomically bad, original. I am a comic creator to this day and was back then, and so I thought it'd be natural for me to talk about webcomics. I found a website that I still keep tabs with called the Bad Webcomics Wiki, and I decided to take comics from there in order to talk about them. The first one I chose was Skullboy, where I reviewed it poorly and in a way that I'd never do today. Then I did the same thing with VGCats, but I stopped making the series due to light backlash on Reddit, where I was told to talk positively about webcomics for a change, so I did. As you know, negativity on YouTube beats positivity, and so the video I made praising a webcomic called Speedy failed miserably. And also, I made a video called The Crazed Cat Theory, where I had this fun little theory for how crazed cats came about. This was 3 years ago.
You know how the Doges send birthday gifts to the cats every year? You may have shrugged this off, but I believe that those gifts are mind-controlling devices that work instantly once a cat opens a gift. Then, that cat sneaks out of their base because of the mind control, because they're mind controlled to do so, to the enemies. And since the enemies are again mind controlling them, they then put them to sleep. After that, they do weird experiments on the cats, and maybe give them cat fruits since you have to be the enemies to get them, which means that they have them, until they're insanely powerful and easy to control due to the mind control I mentioned earlier. Although there haven't been any enemies to mind control your cats, Why would the Doge give gifts to an evil empire that is willing to kill thousands and thousands of their own kinds just to be nice? Unless the
Raid. Raid was also a comic that I created and made an animation for. It was also terrible, both the animation and the story. I was attempting to be deep and subversive with the main character that was actually a horrible person, but we don't know about that until the very end, and the message was about how the furry community is full of people like that, because I hated furries back then and the Zeus Data stuff was still fresh in my memory. But it was retarded because I didn't know how to do that yet. The comic and animation are a little different story-wise. In the comic, the setting is in a furry Discord server that gets raided by trolls and people who want to take it down. And by the end we learn that the main character is a bad person right before the server gets deleted. It was stupid. The animation not only took about 30 weeks to make, but it was also an unnecessary prequel to this already dumb story. And it had no grace or subtlety because I was a 14-year-old and I had just started writing.
We're not that weird, it's just an incorrect common belief.
Same old same. I continued making a few ironic videos to the animations that were occasionally funny, and I started making 3D animations sometimes too. And mashups, which is something I still do for background audio on non-Battle Cat related videos. You hear that later. Actually, you hear it right now, check it.
I'm not a fan of puppeteers, but Blood Ravens here again, aim to kill the spear of Cain. A killer assailants make conspiracy claims against the realist reign that came in vain and chased the fame. Now they're
Hold up, take a moment, count my guap, count my guap. All these rags bumming in, they bumming in. Hold up, hey, count my guap. Can I stop coming in, coming in?
But I slowly became more and more unhappy with what I was doing. I wanted to be somewhere. I didn't want to be some random guy stuck at 500 subscribers while making videos for nobody to see. Ending plus Purgatorian. I made a few more animations and mashups, but my final video was called Blackpilled Tales, though it got taken down yesterday as of writing for hate speech, which I rewatched the video and that makes no sense.
Sonic.
What is it, Tails?
Sonic.
What, man?
I'm black-pilled Sonic.
What?
And no, I'm not misogynistic.
The hell is being black-pilled?
Dating market is fucked. Listen to these statistics.
No, Tails. You're listening to Charmy B? This guy still lives with his parents, man. He's 28.
Give it back.
So the last visible video on the channel is called The Jeffrey Dahmer Argument, which was an animation where my best friend's brother had an extremely strange stance, which was that Dahmer only touched people and boys because he was gay. It's as stupid as it sounds.
Because I'm very disturbed by what you're trying to say. You're fucking stupid.
Jeffrey Dahmer raped children because he was gay. That's literally what you have been saying. Yeah.
I was about done with this channel though. With so many random videos, different topics, and random popular videos that ruined my ability to be recommended to literally anyone, I made a final big animation that took around 2 weeks, and it was for a comic that I had been working on for a long time then. Purgatorian was my first big comic. The main premise was unique as well, as it was about beings from purgatory that wanted to take the soul from a morally neutral person, and the morality of this person would be prescribed to them for their actions in life. The main twist was about how they had to find out who was morally neutral, as it could be any of the 3 human characters or none of them.
Shut up about the president already, jeez. Guys, simmer down.
First thing we see is 2 humans arguing.
Hold on, I heard someone. Oh crap, demons!
Ryan, did you attempt to summon demons last night again? You know that Zach is super afraid, and they're gone.
Cool, demons.
Demons? We don't look like demons. Screw you.
My feelings. Oh, they hurt so badly.
It's okay, Ackline. Don't let these humans hurt your feelings.
Geez, sorry, I didn't know. You'll get better soon. Ryan, get back. I'ma dissolve these bastards.
We are not freaking demons.
There are 3 versions of this, and they are structured in completely different ways. The first recreation was intended to be faster paced, less serious, and more focused on jokes, but it failed because I accidentally made it too serious. And the third version was so fast paced and so focused on jokes that it didn't make any sense to anyone except me. I created an animatic for it. Here's what that looked like.
This guy, likes horses. Ackline, what's a horse?
They're like animals or something.
Why isn't that non-animal eating the horse? If I was a non-animal, I'd be eating that horse.
Okay, you gave us bad luck.
No, shut up, guy. You know what we gotta do.
Yeah, let's go.
Shut up! No! Shut up! Climate change isn't real! Hey, non-animals, shut up! This is my brother Ackline, and our pronouns
Nobody
are
cares about pronouns.
I do. I go by she, him on weekdays and Zayzum on weekends.
That's why you think climate change is real.
I don't even do that, you idiot. He, him, by the way.
Shut up about pronouns. I was wondering if you guys eat horses.
No!
It was bad luck.
No way!
I told you. So no, we're gonna kill you.
Yep. No. What?
No.
So basically, we're from Purgatory, and we're here to test our morality.
And we need someone in the middle.
How are you idiots gonna test us?
So you wanted to know?
Yeah.
Rob the bank. You two are immortal right now.
Oh, really?
What?
Huh?
He wasn't supposed to kill himself.
Whatever, I got over it. Let's go rob this bank.
Oh, hell no. You're diabolical.
I'm insulted. No, I'm not. Let's go do this. Oh my god, that hurt so bad. Now let's go rob.
You said they're immortal. How'd you forget?
Whatever. Rob them with these bows.
What are you, an idiot? She didn't know what a gun was. The pronouns are he, him, dude. But yeah, she's stupid. We need a plan real quick. We have to be as horrible as possible, because they'll kill us if we just do a normal job. Cody, what the hell? I'm not killing anybody. She did. Give me money.
Dude, what the hell? The pronouns were they, them.
Jesus, what's up with pronouns today?
I don't know. It really shouldn't be this prevalent.
Where's the money?
It's here.
$1 million? What? Why isn't it in cash? How's it? Let's just go. Did it? Why is it below us?
Don't worry about it, little guy. Nice job, Ryan. You're the most neutral.
Dang! Am I gonna die now?
Not yet. We need 4 more test results.
So yeah.
Another one tomorrow.
We'll be talking about the original here though. It had a lot of pages, chapters, and funny moments, and though it started off and ended with an interesting cliffhanger because I didn't know how to draw a certain fight scene, a lot of the middle meandered on for a bit because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. It wouldn't have made for a great animated series because of this, but 3 years ago it was my best work and meant a lot to me, and with this project I made the difficult decision to end the channel. What I learned. So let's look at what I did with Joe's. I got 500 subscribers in 4 years, but I ended up feeling unhappy by the end because nobody was watching my stuff. The reason why nobody was watching my stuff was because of channel history, and I felt that that was the main reason why people weren't coming to my videos. I had YouTube poop starting out, and occasionally gaming content, and sometimes real videos, but also ironic videos, and sometimes 3D animations, some Friday Night Funkin' stuff about my comics. It was just all over the place because I prioritized having a lot of fun making stuff randomly over trying to get bigger over the few years. And as an animation YouTuber with that history, it basically became impossible with this channel. The biggest takeaway I got was that I need to lock into doing something specific, and that there are 2 aspects of doing YouTube as a hobby. One is making sure you're creating content you enjoy. If you don't make videos that you like, then you'll feel soulless, and that soullessness will especially hit when you eventually start falling off, as the decay of a channel happens to everyone. And the second aspect of creating content is getting the views in the first place. A person can enjoy making something all they want, but if they get nothing out of it continually for months or years while wanting people to end up seeing the result, then it'll feel like all of your time was wasted. Everyone at least wants their project to be seen, and these 2 things of being a YouTuber must be balanced in order to have a good time on this platform. Alexander. I didn't just want to give up on YouTube. I mean, at that point, I was doing it for 2 years of my life, and I enjoyed making videos and animations. So with what I learned, I decided to make a new channel instead, named, at the time, Alexander, but now Judah the Zealous One. Changes. There is one major change that I kept in mind while making this channel. As opposed to Joe's, where I just make videos for fun and hope to get views, I would instead prioritize getting views first while doing what I enjoyed second. Beginning. I wanted to make webcomic and cartoon review videos because, again, I was still making comics and I was inspired by Mr. Enter and Saber Spark. So I created a review for Stone Toss's comic that I almost fully disagree with now, and a review for a cartoon called Salted Egg Temple that did good because I put ads on it. I continued making videos like this sometimes, while also making videos about stuff I was interested in at the time, and trying new ideas while keeping the old ones. I made a video about Sonic.exe and all of his variants, which still interests me to this day. An overview of a Terraria webcomic called Legend of Max, really old videos where me and an ex-friend reacted to videos while giving their commentary, and 2 videos that still hold up to this day about Digimon and Yokai Watch respectively. And then I decided to make a switch. PCNF video. I have to talk about this before the gaming analysis content, even though I made this video near the start of when I started analyzing games. PCNF, or Pork Chop and Flat Screen, is an animated series made by MZ, and I have a lot of history with it. When I was a kid, I want to say 10 or 11, I watched the series and loved it. And I mean, I loved it. I watched all of it like twice back then I watched all the shorts MZ made for it like twice again, but I lost the series at some point, and for years I had wanted to find it again as it never really left the back of my mind. I remembered exactly what the premise was, and I searched for it for hours, maybe days I think, and then I found it. I felt as if this weird internet show from my childhood would be ruined because of how critical of shows I had become, but since it was a show from my past, I wanted to review it. And it's even going on to this day, or it still was back then. So I watched all 50 or so episodes and came to the conclusion that it was bad. Made this video and I look back on it fondly to this day. It had everything my good videos had at the time and then some, and I really went into depth as to why I disliked the show. It didn't do crazy numbers or anything, but if you want a gist for how I used to write these videos, then check it out. I still suggest it despite the cursing and crude language.
This is supposed to be our deep character, but I believe that she falls flat in her face. MZ had a lot of opportunities to make this character begin going through a smooth change, such as in episode 3 when Bobby and Mina met. They could have became a thing or even just friends, but due to internal issues, Mina just had to forget about Bobby, even though later she still cares a lot about him. Make up your mind, man. I can let it slide because it's early in the series and the start of her character, and this sort of characterizes her in a way I see, but not the many other times that she acts in a similarly distant way throughout the entire series. I know that she's supposed to be like this because she's deep and she's supposed to be the dynamic character, but really, she stays pretty much the same throughout the entire series.
Gaming analysis content. The first time I ever explicitly talked about a game is on my PvZ 2 Sun Meta video, as I was into that game during that time thanks to YouTubers like Creeps20 and RCCH, even though he doesn't play PvZ 2, but whatever. I made a funny animated video as well, ripping on the community's weird fascination on solar flare, and I used my old YouTube poop editing skills with this one.
And on the plant side, Walnut, because he's so simple, Green Shadow, and Solar Flare, who might be some other people's favorite designs for other reasons, but I refuse to talk about that. The animation of this game, though, I do not refuse to talk about whatever you're alluding to. 1, we are not talking about that. 2, who the hell are you? And 3, get out of my house. I'm Viewer, and you call this a house or just a fucking great. Don't curse. That will not be a standard of my videos. Fuck, ass, piss. I say what I want. No, you don't, because this is my video, and again, we're not talking about why Solar Flare might be people's favorite design for other reasons. You bring it up just to ignore it? Fuck that. Again, with the cursing, Viewer. I don't answer to anyone.
By almost a year in, I had finally gotten 150 subscribers, and this is when I leaned into Terraria content. 1.4k views on my True Melee video felt explosive, and then the 20k on my Terraria Ranger Class Sucks video made me sure that I'd make Terraria content in order to get as many views as possible, since if you remember, my main thing for this channel as a project was views first, enjoyment in creating them second. I'd also changed to different stills, again, which should be visible on screen. No, it's not a monkey guy or anything, as it's based on my favorite race from a game I play over and over again occasionally called Starbound, and the race is called the Apex. Unfortunately, I ruined the momentum I had with these Terraria videos by making content about PvZ, then a Risk of Rain 1 video, not Returns, and a really good Starbound video that I experimented with a lot. At the time, I had 3 different channel characters, myself, Viewer, and Neuer, and my main gimmick was that for some videos, Neuer would take over with a different voice and editing style, and for others, I would with my normal editing style. Vera was just kind of an oddball, someone who'd randomly appear and then be vulgar and funny. Original Battle Cats videos. I went back to talking about Terraria, but I wasn't really enjoying it, so I changed to talking in depth about Battle Cats with my Neuer persona, who had this weird accent that's hard to understand since I wanted to differentiate the characters.
Of course, we had to talk about the original Temera since he's the original Titan. He's a great cat in the early game as he's incredibly useful for fighting with the weak peons of an empire of cats, but in most situations, as soon as he's faced with any real force, he crumbles. As I said in the early game of Battle Cat, he does really well. He's a good tanker during that section, and Temera himself is useful for countering certain early stage of legend levels. Though once you've actually started to get final forms for your cat, his usage quickly lowers because of his low for cost HP and bad recharge time. Other tankers like Rokat, who's meant to be a specialist red tanker, has more base HP than him. Plus he can also be boosted and his talents also can increase his health.
And these initial videos were pretty successful. My Jamera family analysis video almost got 6k views, and my original Generalist Loadout video got 10k views, and it's still climbing to this day surprisingly. Strange period. I didn't stick to Battle Cats though, since I found reviewing music to be interesting now, and I felt like talking about Hell of a Boss because I just watched it then. I then had the idea to talk about both Battle Cats and Terraria, so I could get a mix in viewership, half who wanted Terraria and half who wanted Battle Cats, though this idea didn't pan out in the slightest, and I was annoyed with the low performance. So I decided to make a new series, Analyzing Difficulty, where I'd analyze the difficulty of different games. I made one on Fear and Hunger, which was a game I used to be super into. Then I made a promise to analyze the second game, Termina, and that never happened. But then I analyzed Risk of Rain 2's difficulty. The video unperformed and I got annoyed, so I never made another analyzing difficulty again, until I did later, but I'll talk about that in a minute. I then wanted to shift back to making music reviews, so I decided to review all of 21 Pilots' discography with the most insane ADHD editing, and insanely wrong opinions of all time. The video took a few days to make just editing wise, and it did so poorly, it got like 34 views naturally I think, that I decided to put ads on it so it could get 3.7k views. And then I lost $200, which was not worth it, because I use ads. Never use AdSense, it's a scam, don't do it if you're a new YouTuber. Then I decided that music doesn't do well for me, and I really wanted success again like I had with my Fear and Hunger video. So I made a remake to my original Stone Toss video that underperformed, but got 1.4k views as of now. Then I made a video on Yeet that did badly, and I went back to Battle Cat.
Afterlife is Yeat's best because it's perfect. I have zero problems with the album, and I see it as something that anyone can enjoy once they understand Yeat's style and his genre. In short, this is his most different project when compared to the rest of his discography. Life almost feels like the opposite of Afterlife, as even though you get a similar transcendent feeling from this one, it's clearly more derivative and more standard from what you'd expect from Yeat and mumble rap in general.
Battle Cats Round 2. For a short while, I returned to Battle Cats, hoping I could get views like what I had before, and I had a nice amount of success. I made 4 more videos, one with a nice 9k view count, and one where I put tons of effort into the extremely crude animated bit for it to only get 632 views.
This raid is generally designed to have very threatening, powerful melee pushers that only have the weakness of being easy to push back themselves due to their generally high KB count, but quite a few enemies break. So let me get this straight. There's a black type of enemy in the game, and they're fast, they drop a lot of money, and they're very threatening with high damage. God damn it, Vidor, why do you hit again? You wrote a gimmick part 1 unsuccessful video a year ago. Oh cool, you remember me, but I don't remember that stupid, dumb, stupid accent. Hey, it's not stupid, it's like fucking sucks. Hey, don't curse, I still don't allow that majorly in my videos, you. Shut your ass up, nigga. Dude, you can't just say that. What the hell is wrong with you? You're white. I'm voiced by a black guy though, so nobody gives a fuck, dude.
Strange Period 2. I stopped making Battle Cat stuff seriously, forever. Due to this decline, it made a hell of a boss smasher past tier list for ironic reasons, which I obviously don't approve of nowadays. Then I made a video talking about my biggest comic so far, or at this point, Narwhalshire. Narwhalshire took 10 months to develop and create, and now that it's been a while since I finished it, and since I've changed so much since I made it, it's weird to think about. I still call it my best comic due to how much it was inspired from my own life experience and my worldview at the time. Not to mention all the planning that went into it with the determination that I had, and because of that, it still means a lot to me. This Nar was based on me and my own flaws at the time. Basically 17-year-old me. But the story is deeply disturbing and far from anything normal, as it dealt with sexuality, as you can see from the thumbnail, and grooming, though I have never been groomed. More than anything, it was a very personal project and an outlet for the natural thing I was going through, and it was a test. Can I deal with serious subject matter that didn't happen to me? And I would say that I did pretty well, despite some areas with flaws. Due to the disturbing subject matter being about both homosexuality and grooming, the story naturally would have never gotten anywhere despite my light efforts. And even at the time, I didn't want it to be some big project that I'm known for or anything, so there wasn't much of a push for it. Overall, Narwhalshire was a writing exercise in learning how to deal with serious subject matter, and stories and subtle writings. And though thanks to it, I was able to document one of the saddest parts of my life in which I thought I was against human nature, I now simply recognize it as a milestone writing-wise, and I'll never delete it because of its importance to me. You can check it out in my archive server if you like. I made a Scott Pilgrim video where I analyzed everything surrounding the property, be that the anime, the game, the movie, and the comic itself, for it to underperform massively. The video took almost a year or so to make as well because of how much research I was doing and a ton of other reasons. I went back to Terraria with the summoning video, and then I revived analyzing difficulty just for Terraria, and the video underperformed from what I had expected. Since you probably don't know how I talk about difficulty in these videos, you may be asking, what is difficulty? Difficulty in video games is a very complex thing, but I simplified it by categorizing it into 3 sections: challenge, knowledge, and punishment. I'll define them better in case you're still confused. Challenge refers to a game's straight skill level needed in order to get anywhere in the game. Knowledge refers to your need to learn in-game information and mechanics, and punishment refers to how much a game hurts you for failing. Terraria's form of difficulty isn't too dissimilar from any other sandbox adventure game, as it relies mostly on your knowledge of the game and how much skill you have, as punishment in this game most of the time is a simple loss of money which can be regained with some time, or put into a piggy bank so it's impossible to lose again. I made a second video about Narwhalshire, and then another 2 more about Terraria videos where I had the idea to make mixed class runs and talk about if they worked or not, which was a cool idea, I will admit. With the first one doing great, and the second one, underperforming hard at the time, and even now. I felt so done. Nothing I did was working anymore. So for fun, I made a Grippy Analysis, the song by J. Cole, and then I announced that I was quitting so I could restart.
This video is here for multiple reasons, but it's mostly here to help new and aspiring YouTubers think about how they should make their content, as I learned a lot from these last almost 3 years on YouTube. My first channel ever, Joe's, helped me learn the basics of 3D and 2D animation and editing, plus writing scripts and joke writing. Not to mention all the different projects I underwent during that channel's active lifespan, which helped me to be able to write comics and animations while pushing me to get better at drawing for that channel. This channel has done a similar thing for me, but most of my learning was condensed to learning about how to keep a channel running, and more internal details about it. Of course, I've learned how to animate better, and I've created more animated projects and comics during the active lifespan of this one, but now I feel like that this should be all over. I feel myself gravitating away from making video game analysis videos for very niche audiences and having no fan base due to how I choose topics and my non-existent upload schedule. I'm far more interested in two things that have absolutely nothing to do with this channel, one being musical discussion, discourse, and analysis on albums and artists, and writing for visual media like comics and animation. Both of these topics are things that I find myself more and more passionate about, as video games in general and just trying my absolute best to make the biggest video are things that I'm feeling tired of. I don't play video games often anymore. Most of my time is spent drawing, writing, and developing ideas for my comics and animations and musical discourse on completely different websites. And whenever I play a video game for whatever reason, be that with friends or just alone randomly to pass the time and take a break, I always think, how can I make this a video instead of just enjoying the game? I'm really tired of this, and I'd rather talk about music, writing, and comics overall as opposed to video games. I know that in my heart anyway, I wouldn't have ever wanted to be known as a guy who just makes Terraria or Battle Cats videos every 2 weeks or whatever. I want to be known as a writer and as a person who loves to analyze both comics and music for their artistic merit. That's why I want to leave this channel behind and try something else completely, since I know that for a fact my occasional upload schedule and extremely random topics from 21 Pilots to Stone Toss to Terraria to Battle Cats Digimon definitely will turn people off from the idea of following me, since I set a very clear precedent through my history that I'll instantly throw away a series idea or anything if one video fails, or if I just feel like talking about something else completely. And even with the most subscribers and views that I've ever gotten in my history of trying YouTube, more views and subscribers than what most people have and will ever get on YouTube, I know that my previous 71 videos will hinder me in my growth and ability to create a community.
That's where this channel that you're watching this video on comes into play, because this was originally going to be Judah the Zealous One. The brackets are from Joe's, the name is from Mario Judah, and the Zealous One is from the very old nerdcore rapper Zealous One. And this character that you're seeing on screen right now with the red eye instead of the blue one is actually based on the Zealous One's Living Epitaph, which is still one of my favorite albums to this day. My original idea for this channel here was that I'd make song analysis videos with silly but simplistic editing and goofy jokes, but I decided that since I was going into college, which I'm in college right now, that I may as well revamp the old channel from Alexander to Judah so that I could use my old viewership or subscriber count for some possible easier success, mostly because I got that suggestion from a comment on Reddit. And I'm thankful for that, because then I would not be here right now. I would not have 1K with Battle Cats. Thank you guys again. I completely switched from talking about basically random crap to talking about only music and webcomics with bad results. It just didn't work. What did I learn? On YouTube, you can try to make videos that'll be interesting to you and get you bursts of views if you want, but that only goes so far. I switched content so many times from just video to video that you could pinpoint short errors in what I decided to focus on in my channel's history. That's not good for any channel, because if someone wants to subscribe to your channel and they just see that you talk about other random crap that they don't care about, then you either just got an empty subscriber or you lost one. Community is important, and through this whole thing, there were many times where I just wanted to quit. I remember every 100 I was just thinking about wanting to quit, because I would just have this really slow climb up of getting to the next 100. It was like, okay, I got 600, now I'm at 650. This video I made keeps failing, and they all keep failing. And I'm making these videos not necessarily because I want to make the video, but because I want to get bigger and bigger as a YouTuber. I couldn't get the views I wanted. I had no community or fans, and I knew each and every one of my subscribers were hollow because they all subscribed for completely different reasons. I had a Discord server at the time with people who liked my Terraria videos, but when I stopped making Terraria stuff, it totally died. Running this channel felt bad because I fully felt that sunk cost fallacy in effect, which is like, I put so much time into this, I have to keep doing it. And the worst part of it all was that I wasn't getting anything out of it. Without a community and views this inconsistent, that means that my watch hours are terrible, not to mention the extremely inconsistent upload rate I had. Sometimes I'd post 2 videos in like 2 weeks, and then I'd leave for 2 months and keep making stuff. What I learned from this is what I learned from Joe's, but in kind of an inverse way. And it was what I was trying to escape, a bad channel history. Like Joe's with random videos and fully unrelated animations, I'd made videos about whatever random things I wanted, and whatever random thing got me some views and subscribers, and my goals for this channel became hollow. It's simple, you have to build your channel from talking about something specific, consistently, with a nice upload rate and a nice amount of quality, and that's kind of how this channel started. All-Star. Before I revamped this channel to Battle Cats, it used to be called All-Star, and it was supposed to be a secondary channel where I make inflammatory troll videos about controversial things. Instead, I decided that it'd be a good idea to freaking attack people in people's videos instead. This was my final troll channel, as I hadn't mentioned it before, but I made a few, and the first 2 videos are these troll attempts. All I wanted to do was get under people's skin while appearing as a rational person that was actually trying to make points that made sense, and it did work. FNAF World video. 2 months ago, I was playing FNAF World a lot, and I decided to attack this tier list that was terrible. Nothing came of it, because even the creator knew that it was terrible. Mushroom Girl video. At a similar time, I decided to attack this guy named Too Graceful because I had watched a video he made where he debated an infamous person in a small art community named Mushroom Girl. In this 1.5 hour long video, I insulted Graceful a lot and broke down why exactly each and every one of his points were bad for the first half of their debate. It was very fun to make, and I sent it directly in Graceful's server, where I got the reaction I wanted. And yes, even now that I'm... he was so mad. Oh my gosh, he was so mad. That was so funny. And yes... and yes, even now that I'm Christian, and I would literally never do this under any circumstance again, I still do find it funny because all this was insane. Today, shortly after this trolling, I turned to God and decided that I never wanted to attack people again. Besides, I never talked directly about any other content creator on any of my channels before this, because I didn't feel like getting into goofy internet beef for a few days, and I didn't want to get bigger off of talking down on others within a space. If you happen to know anything about the ArtCC in the last couple years, for example, you'd know why. But now with these things that I learned, I decided to improve on what I've been doing. I refuse to sit down and stay the same while blaming the system, which is something I feel a lot of other content creators that never grow do. They'll have all the flaws that I had on my previous 2 channels and wonder why they have no community, or they'll just stay making the same content that nobody watches without doing an inward change. But one of the most major things that I've learned from YouTube through failure is that you can do well with some patience, consistency, and dedication. Always, and I mean always, blame yourself first and see how you can change in order to make something better if it's not going your way. In just about every situation where something's just not going right, you're most likely part of why it's not going right. And this doesn't just go with YouTube, it goes with basically everything. Misk. There are other things I wanted to talk about as well, but I didn't get the chance to. Content ceiling. A lot of this will be telling you stuff that I learned from looking at others online and my own personal experience. For one, all niches of content have content ceilings. The ceiling is usually determined by who the biggest creator in the niche is. For example, with Battle Cats, the ceiling is at Xskill or Chillhola. What this means is that you shouldn't realistically expect to be bigger than them because those 2 YouTubers and LucasIV are the top dogs when it comes to this niche. Within Battle Cats, this means that the community is small enough to where if you make really good videos, they'll probably see them, but it isn't large enough to become a quote-unquote real YouTuber. You know, someone who can actually live off the money that they're making. Less people are probably attempting to make Battle Cat stuff in comparison to other niches that are far larger, so sticking out and making a name for yourself should be easier. Due to the niche's smaller size, you'll also most likely retain a community for longer, as there aren't constantly new guys coming out of nowhere to take away your attention, especially because of the barrier to entry when it comes to making solid Battle Cats content, as you gotta know a good amount about the game before being able to effectively talk about it. With the larger community like gaming in general, I'll use Markiplier for an example as the ceiling. Due to this niche's size and the ease of entry, there will be millions of other people attempting to be at the top, which creates way more competition and basically requires you to have a lot of luck on your side, even if your content is solid. Not to mention the fact that you have to stand out a whole lot more than someone like me, for example. Stick with it. You have to stay realistic and remember that the chance of a video of yours blowing up is very, very, very low. The most videos I had before the journalist video was 160 or so on the Clamcat video. In order to build a strong channel history though, you have to stick with whatever niche you chose for yourself. You can't simply make Minecraft content that kind of does well and then switch to PvZ for a few videos and then switch back to Minecraft, because it'll tank your viewership and kill it if you're starting out, especially if one of these theoretical PvZ videos blow up, because YouTube likes to put you into a straight and narrow pathway of content for you to create. The main thing to remember with this system is that you've got to stay consistent. I'm a perfect example of this. Look at my first channel. As you saw from my explanation, it was absurdly inconsistent, and so is my Judah channel. And that's why it took so long to get where I was, versus this channel where in a month I have 1k subs due to that strong channel history and due to that consistency, and of course due to the quality of my videos, because I know I make good videos. That's why you guys are all subscribed. You want your audience to look back at your videos and see more of whatever your biggest video is about. Make yourself a specific subject and don't deviate too much from it. And if you do deviate from it, make sure that it's all still related. That's why I still make animations and put them here, but they'll only ever be Battle Cats related. It's a deviation from my regular content, but the topic of Battle Cats stays consistent. Don't do YouTube! I'd say just don't do it. It's not a viable job, it takes a ton of time to do, and it's hard. Most of your time will be spent spending hours working on whatever, in the hopes that you get enough subscribers to get monetization, to then get pennies off of your videos. There's most likely no chance that you're gonna break the mold of all the small creators and get a million subs or even 100k. Look at history and see channels at that level that have fallen for one reason or another. Skydoes Minecraft, Captain Sparkles, Animation Rewind, Mr. Enter, Manapony, Steve, I could go on. None of these people except Captain Sparkles and maybe Steve really got anything out of their years of work after their time was up. So by looking at the YouTube life of others, you can easily assume that one, you can be like Lucas IV and have a very consistent community forever, but not make that much or make a comfortable amount off of your channel. And also you probably have to be on YouTube for years like Lucas IV was. This guy has been making videos for almost a decade. Or two, hopefully you get hundreds of thousands of subs or millions, fall off heavily and leave YouTube. To me, those are the most common endings for a lot of more successful YouTubers. And success isn't common, as it requires a lot of luck and timing. Lucas IV, is it Lucas IV or Lucas the Fourth? I don't know. I don't care. It's Lucas IV, okay? Lucas IV and Chillhola, for example, have been making content for nearly a decade, i.e. a time where most of Battle Cats updates haven't come out yet, so they had the ability to be some of the first to make big tutorials and plenty of videos about the game's updates. But the most common is 3. You wasted time and you quit. I'd say just don't do it at all. For me, it's both a hobby since I like talking deeply about Battle Cats, and I like directly seeing progress on my channel. But if at any time I feel like leaving, then I'll leave. It's hard, but don't feel tied down to a channel by what ifs or sunken costs, as it just kinda sucks. I would never say that it was something that was ruining my life or something retarded like that, but participating in this platform can be soul draining. Conclusion. I hope that you found this long video about my history interesting. I tried to keep it generally summarized with a central point, but now you all know how I came to be a Christian Battle Cats YouTuber. Goodbye, and
I actually want to continue what I was saying earlier with a completely different mic, because I'm not in my dorm right now, but anyway. That's also kind of the beauty of succeeding with any sort of thing. All creative outlets and attempts at making stuff is inherently risky and really, really hard to do. Getting somewhere is very, very hard to do, and being something is hard to do. YouTube is also hard to do, but I don't say don't do it because it's hard, as I accidentally misworded it, but I say don't do it because the rewards of it are probably far less than what you would get if you did basically any other sort of creative job, like, I don't know, attempting to become an animator or attempting to be a writer. Those things are similar, but the rewards are far better, because if you're consistently a pretty good writer, well, it is actually really similar. First, we have to think about the inconsistency at which your videos could be viewed and the fall off. For a lot of people who create unique media, there sometimes just isn't even a fall off point. While with YouTube, that's completely different. Every single YouTuber will fall and be replaced at some point, while writers and animators of other creative fields usually probably won't be until they're ready to retire. And what is YouTube retirement really? You stop making videos at 30 because you're a very successful channel? Well, no. For most people, that just won't be the reality unless you're MatPat from Game Theory. In reality, most of the time it's probably just you decide to stop making videos, or you do something stupid and get into controversy, or something like that, or someone digs up something about you, anything like that, or you just stop feeling like making videos and then you decide to get a real job instead. But mainly what I'm trying to push you away from doing is getting into YouTube and letting that be your only skill, letting that be the only thing that you can do. You can go on ahead and try YouTube. It's a very risky and not so beneficial thing to you, and you probably won't make that much money because, for example, Laughing Stock Media, he created a video. He has 155,000 subscribers, and he was explaining how he makes less than minimum wage, how he would make more from McDonald's than continuing doing his YouTube channel that he's been on for the last 10 years. That's the kind of predicament that many YouTubers are in that they will never tell you about. That's the thing about a lot of content creators that you'll just never understand or know about. These people are not ballers. They're not making money. They're probably making minimum wage. They're probably making less than that, or maybe a little bit above that. It's very abnormal to see people like, I don't know, iShowSpeed. Is he a YouTuber? I don't know. I feel like I'm 30 even though I'm 19. I don't know if iShowSpeed is a YouTuber. I think he's a Twitch guy. But it's very rare to see those kind of MatPats, those Markipliers, all of those. And people like that, they just don't appear anymore. You guys have definitely probably been paying attention a lot to the landscape of this platform, but the MatPats and the Markipliers and all of them, they don't appear anymore. They're not really a thing anymore. New big guys don't come up anymore because the big guys took a really long time when the platform was at a specific point, and then they blew up. That's what I mean by time and place is very important as well. It's just, I would say, if you like doing YouTube, if you want to do it really badly, then go for it. But I want you to just know for a fact and be aware of the fact that you probably will not make much money for a long time. If you're already an adult, do some other skill. Like, if you're a kid or something, like if you're 13 or something, and you want to try out YouTube, you have all the time in the world, man. But even now that I'm 19, I've just gotten to college, I realize how little time I actually have to do things like this, when I could be doing homework, when I could be spending time with my family, when I could be doing many other things over just this. So make sure YouTube never is controlling you, this thing that will give you basically no money, this thing that will take your soul away, unless you already have created a massive platform. And if we look back, that takes a massive amount of time. It's rare, it's risky, but that's kind of how a lot of things are when it comes to being creative. YouTube is just yet another creative outlook, another creative platform where you can create your own things and put them online and then hope that people will check it out because of the quality, because of your advertising, because of all those sort of things. If anything, it's rather normal that when trying to be in comparison to other creative things, it just depends on what your niche is and what you're trying to do. That's pretty much all I wanted to explain. I hope that the background audio isn't too bad. I turned off the noise cancellation so my mic sounds a little better. But yeah, I hope you really did enjoy this video. There probably won't be any other videos like this where I just talk about myself for an hour, because but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to join that archive server that I have, and goodbye.